Today's episode is brought to you by Merge Records, a great label, a label full of bands that I think listeners of this show will enjoy. Over the last 25 years, Merge Records has been home to so many great bands, including the Magnetic Fields. I think a lot of listeners of this show, if you don't know the Magnetic Fields, you're going to love them. Download their stuff. We're talking about Spoon. We're talking about Neutral Milk Hotel. Life-changing album for me, that first Neutral Milk Hotel album. And now, you got a couple new albums coming out in February from Ought and from Superchunk. Superchunk, both of those bands, fantastic. Superchunk, Mac from Merge and Superchunk, he actually sent over a preview. I listened to that record. It is so good. You got Titus Andronicus coming in March, New Jersey's own Titus Andronicus. Visit mergerecords.com to learn about, listen to, and shop for music by these artists and many others. Listeners of this podcast get 20% off any order using the coupon code BEAUTIFUL. As always, domestic shipping is free. Again, go to mergerecords.com, enter BEAUTIFUL. Get 20% off your purchase. Good people, friends of the show. Merge Records, home of independent music since 1989. In honor of Black History Month, Spontanea Nation will be featuring Black improvisers and guests for all of February. Hear from incredible performers like Nathan Lee Graham, LeVar Burton, Tawny Newsome, and improvisers like Sean Diston, Carl Tart, Ronnie Adrian, Lacey Mosley, Zeke Nicholson. Sean Diston's in there. I tell you, Sean is an old friend of mine, one of the best improvisers on the planet. If you're a Gethard Show fan, Sean Diston, trivia fact, member of the Wiffle Bat gang from the early public access episodes. Very, very funny guy. Also secretly known as the Smoke Weed guy from the Chris Gethard Show, if you get that reference. You're not going to want to miss these compelling interviews, hilarious improvised narratives. Spontanea Nation with Paul F. Tompkins, the hilarious, wonderful Paul F. Tompkins. Hear it every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hello to all my professional sage spreaders. Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, 1 phone call. No names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun. And I'll get to know you and you'll get to know me.
Hello, everybody. My name's Chris Gethard. This is Beautiful Anonymous, the show where you get to spy on other people's lives. Through a podcast, through audio, you get to put your little earbuds in and be a voyeur. Nobody on the subway knows you're listening to somebody else talk all about their life and their opinions and their experiences. It's a fun show. I will tell you, I've been on vacation for the past 3 weeks. You guys have, I think, heard that. I've mentioned that in the intros to the show. I am back, and I will tell you this, and this is something that's true and that comes from the bottom of my heart. Towards the end of our vacation, my wife looked at me. She said, "Now, what are you most excited to get back to?" And the first thing I said, I'm excited to go have some conversations with strangers. It's the best. I get to do this. Never expected it to be successful. And it's the best. It's the best. It's the number one thing that I was excited to do when I came back to America. So thank you all for supporting the show and allowing it to happen. It's a special thing in my life. Now, let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit. Because first of all, February 7th, our show at the Bell House in Brooklyn. Guess what, everybody? We sold it out. Show of strength right there. Hundreds of tickets. I'm so excited. This is tomorrow night. For those of us, those of you listening to the day that this episode drops, can't wait to meet so many of you. A bunch of the mods from the Facebook group are coming out. I'm going to hang out with them. They're going to quickly learn that although I am someone who has made a career of talking to people intimately, I'm horrible at it in real life. They're going to quickly understand how awkward it is to talk to me one-on-one in person. So looking forward to meeting everybody who's coming out, and especially those mods who work so hard to create that space for all of us to discuss episodes. If you're not a member of Beautiful Anonymous, the community, it's up to about 25,000 people. Get in on it. It's a truly positive place on the internet. How often do you get to say that? And if you want to come to some more of those Bell House shows, I'm telling you, we got another one on the 13th, another one on the 21st. Grab that ticket now, baby. Those tickets are flying. They're going fast, okay? We're coming out. We're partying. This whole community is partying. We got people coming to New York just to see these shows. That's awesome. I tell you, I was following Facebook group a little bit while I was on the road in vacation, checking in when I could, trying to enjoy the vacation, not get too caught up in anything. But I will tell you, last week's episode was the guy just in the Walmart, right? Was it a Walmart or a Target, Jared? So it was a Walmart. I tell you, a shockingly divisive episode in the Facebook group. Tons of feedback. at times I would say borderline violent anger being expressed, other people coming to bat and defending it. It's funny. I've noticed that a lot of times when the episodes are a little unfocused, when it's just a slice of life, there are some people who do not like that. I will say, I'll just remind you that, first of all, react however you want. React however you want. Just be respectful, but you don't have to like them all. Do remember, there's always another one next week. That's one of the beautiful things about this thing we call podcasting. There's another one coming next week. So let's get it going. I will say, too, I noticed a lot of comments that made me laugh. A number of people, more than one person, starting to point out, it seems like I'm hearing this weird soft scratching noise. The episodes that you nailed me. I do have a lot of nervous tics. I have a lot of borderline OCD stuff. I tend to draw with markers, with Sharpies. The Earwolf very foolishly left a big cup full of Sharpies in the booth. And if you ever get a chance to see a picture of the Earwolf table, I would say roughly 40% of the drawing on it is because of me nervously doodling. And Jared also told me today that he spends way too much time editing out as much of that as possible, which, what a saint of a human being. While I know that the listeners view Jared O'Connell as an iron-fisted dictator, he is actually the kindest person I interact with on a regular basis, and the idea that he's had to edit me drawing is heartbreaking, and I apologize. This week's episode, I will tell you, this is a very special one to me, near and dear to my heart. I've thought about it many times since I was able to talk to this person. This person's facing down something that by any of our definitions is a scary thing. It's a medical situation. It's a serious one. And you will hear it's also an immediate one. It's on the horizon in a way that is no joke. This is not a theoretical thing to this person. This is a thing that's going down. And it's scary. It's a scary thing that I think a lot of us get scared to talk about. But I will tell you this. You're going to hear it. This person, such a good sense of humor, such a positivity, and to a degree that it just kind of blew me away. It's one of those ones. One of the reasons that I am so lucky to do this show, why I was so excited to get back to it. I learn from all the people I talk to, and on its best day, this show inspires me, and this call is one of those. This person, I send you so much love, wish you well so sincerely, and I'm not the only one. I'm sure many people are about to say the level of humor and charm in the face of what this person's facing is astounding. So enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
How am I today? I'm cold. It's New York City. For anyone who's listening, I don't know when this will be released, but we're recording it during the bomb cyclone. And it's one of those stretches where you go, why have I lived in this city for 14 years? Why do I do this to myself? That's how I'm doing. But otherwise, I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. I had a headache and left work early because I'm starting chemo later, and I didn't feel like being at work today before that.
You're starting chemo today?
Yeah, like in 3 hours.
So you left work early. I like that you started with headache. The much less concerning thing we need.
Yeah.
What if I only asked you about the headache right now? How bad, how horrible would that be? No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to...
No, it's okay. It was kind of crazy. I was sitting on the couch watching Game of Thrones, and you tweeted out the number, and I was like, this is a much less depressing way to spend the hours, I guess.
Wow.
More depressing, I don't know. But yeah, I'm starting that in a few hours, and I'm a little nervous because I found out right before Christmas, and it's been a little stressful.
Yeah, that's brutal. I'm sorry. What's going on?
They found a tumor in my ovary that hopefully will go away soon. It's not super bad or anything. But it was a lot to take in. But I've got a lot of good friends on my side who have like offered to cut off their hair and stuff already. And I'm like, I think you guys just want to cut off your hair. You don't have to do this yet. It's fine. And what, like a friend today texted me asking if like he can throw me a benefit concert, which is overwhelmingly kind. So it's it's crazy because I feel like I've actually been dealt so much kindness in the past month that that's really overwhelming.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm glad you got people taking care of you. Did you know something was going on? Like, had you been feeling pain or sickness, or did this come out of nowhere?
I ended up in the hospital, like at the end of last year, and they thought it was just an infection, which was horrible because they didn't know what the infection was. So they were like, call your ex and tell him to get tested for STDs. And I was like, oh, great. And we had just broken up. So I had to call my ex on Valentine's Day from the hospital to say, hey, I might be dying from an STD. You should get checked. But then it wasn't that. It ended up being a tumor.
Wow. I don't like anything about that story.
No, it was pretty not ideal, but I guess he was nice about it, and I had a bunch of friends come over and take care of me, so it was super nice. They just drank mimosas and made fun of me for a few days, and it was fine, and I felt better. But now I'm feeling worse again, so I have to start chemo today, which is just stressful.
And you said you found all of this out just in like the past month?
Yeah, I found it out right before visiting my parents for the holidays. And of course they were saying, oh, well, you can get a bunch of cool wigs now, which is true. I did have a bunch of cool wigs before, but I think everybody was like dealing with it with humor. And I think today's the first day that like it's too real for me to make jokes about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
I'd love to try making jokes about it, but I think it's just like it feels a little too real when I woke up this morning. So
yeah.
It's intimidating. Especially like hearing a bunch of things about like how healthcare might not be a thing. It's like a lot. And I feel like people keep using me as an example when they're talking about healthcare and stuff. And I'm like, no, stop bringing me up to everybody else. I don't need everybody to know.
Do you have healthcare, by the way?
I do. Luckily I'm still on my parents for the next year. So, everything's working out, but it sucks to be a part of that conversation all the time. Like being a part of the conversation about healthcare and like people using me as an excuse and like being considered a token unhealthy person in a lot of my friend groups. And like I said, people are really nice about it, but sometimes it's like, I don't want to be the token unhealthy person. Like being a perpetually unhealthy person sucks. And like, it's hard to be at work and not, feel crappy because I can't run around like everybody else. And like, it's difficult to bring up at new jobs like, oh, well, I've been in constant pain since I was like 15. So, it's hard, but it's almost like, hopefully I'll be getting better soon. So I'm just trying to focus on the fact that like, they wouldn't put me on something if it wouldn't at least try to help. So
yeah,
not be a huge downer.
No, that's okay. It's, I hate to say it, this is actually far from the biggest downer this show has ever hosted. I do have a question. Yeah. I'm a little confused. So you said that you just found out about everything in the past month, but then you said you've also been in constant pain since you were 15. I'm a little confused about the timeline. Yeah.
So I was diagnosed with endometriosis when I was 15, and it just, I guess, like, no one really understands what it is, so people kept pushing me off to different doctors, and, like, I've seen, like, stomach doctors and, like, gynecologists, and, like, I had to go get, like a head CAT scan recently because they couldn't figure out a way to stop it, but it's just people, I guess there's just not a lot of research about, like, endometriosis, which, like, affects a lot of people, so, no one did anything, and then I guess it just got so bad that it got out of hand, and that's what I found out in December. Because I went to the doctor for just a checkup, and then he like rushed me into the ultrasound room and said, which is never good. He rushed me in there and was like, you know what, let's do one of these guys, an emergency ultrasound. And I was like, okay. And then I got pretty bad news, and then I had to, start. It just, I don't know. I kind of like blacked out from like how weird it all felt, but yeah. And then I went home like 2 days later. So, and then, I'm doing chemo tonight and then going to a friend's birthday party, but I don't really know how that's going to work out.
Wait, you're going to a party after the chemo?
Yeah.
You thought about maybe some like Netflix instead? You thought about maybe hit the couch? Get the Hulu cranked up? No, you want to go out and party?
Yeah. I've been on bed rest for like 3 weeks. And I'm on the East Coast, so there was a little bit of a storm hit us. So the whole city is kind of shut down, and there's nothing worse than cabin fever when there's like a few inches of snow outside.
So the endometriosis was related. So that wasn't a separate thing. That's a thing that's been in your life for a while, and it led to the tumor?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it, and it was really tough because it's like if you, I would try to make plans with friends and I have to bail out last minute because I was in pain, and it felt lame because it's like the same excuse all the time. So, but recently there was a time 2 years ago where I was just I wanted to be a mountain climber my whole life. But the way you have to maneuver your body to climb mountains is just not a thing I can do. So a few years ago, I was supposed to climb this mountain with my ex-boyfriend, and I couldn't make it to the top. And for a month after that, he was just kind of man, remember when we could have done this thing? So after I healed up after February, my friends took me to climb the same mountain, and they took stops every hour so I could breathe and stretch everything out. And we made it to the top, and that was pretty cool. For every person in my life that's been kind of crappy about me being in too much pain to do stuff, there's even more people who have been able to work around and help basically carry me up a mountain so I can get up there I've always wanted to, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. And you just wanted to climb. You didn't want to be a professional mountain climber.
No.
You just wanted to climb.
No, I just wanted to get to the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a thing? Are there really professional cool mountain climbers? Is that a thing you can have as your job?
So. Yeah. So I when I don't know 8 years ago, back in college, I worked for National Geographic, and I was just an intern there. And, and I was still in pain at the time. And a bunch of people would come back because they just got announced National Geographic Adventurer of the Year. So there were all these guys who for a living, they just climb Mount Everest. And I was just sitting there okay, I mean, I can't even really get out from behind my desk, but this is really cool. And then I just thought that was a really cool, admirable thing. And the way they talked about it, the way they push themselves to climb mountains was crazy. So I just kind of made that a goal, even though it was kind of a crazy stretch goal.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it was cool being surrounded by all these people that could push themselves past their limits when I felt really, really limited.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's amazing that your friend stepped up when your boyfriend was such a shithead.
Yeah, ex-boyfriend, I think, for very similar reasons. But yeah, it was cool. And then I got obsessed with mountain climbing. The year that I was there, there was this guy who just snuck onto Mount Everest, climbed to the top, and then parachuted down and then kayaked out to the Indian Ocean, which is so I don't want to do that or anything, but it was so crazy that I got obsessed with people who do insane things like that.
What? What are these other insane things?
Just there are people. I was reading this crazy thing about people who have swam across the Atlantic Ocean or swam across oceans for fun, and people. I don't know. I just think sneaking up Mount Everest and then paragliding down is kind of crazy. And the guy who went with him was chain smoking at the top, which is. I was all right, that's a way to show mountains who's boss, I guess.
Yeah, those guys were actively disrespecting nature the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the disrespecting nature wasn't that cool, but it was, to me at the time when I was, a teen in college and was in, perpetual pain and couldn't really get out much, it was cool to, be around people who had that ability.
Yeah.
And we're just fuck it, I can climb the mountain, whatever, man.
Yeah, that's badass.
Or people who just, swim the English Channel for fun. I don't. It sounds awful.
You know, one of the craziest ones
but
is,
at the time it's cool.
You ever see those videos of those people who wear those, they almost look like flying squirrels? They got those things.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then you read it, those videos look so cool, and then you read about it, and it's the most dangerous thing a human can do.
Yeah, it's basically putting some spandex on your back and calling yourself Batman and jumping off of stuff. It's it stresses me out, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, a wingsuit. A wingsuit.
Super
dangerous.
Yeah, it's super dangerous. I think I saw a guy, one time I went to go visit a friend in Vermont, and a guy was jumping off of a cliff with one of those, like right in front of the highway. And I thought he was committing suicide. I didn't think he was like doing adventure sports, and that, yeah, I almost drove off the road and then the person next to me was like, what? Like, people do this all the time. And I was like, that's not okay. Like, they should call somebody. And then he was like, no, like, it's a gliding thing. It's calm down. Yeah.
So you thought you were witnessing a tragedy, but you were just witnessing someone taking it to the extreme.
Yeah, he wasn't falling. He was flying. I completely forgot about that until just now. I had buried it, I think.
Yeah, you got bigger things on your mind than wingsuit stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like I want to alternate between asking you questions about what's going on and then distracting you with chit-chat such as what we just did. Is that okay if I bounce back and forth?
Yeah.
So
that's totally fine.
How many treatments do they anticipate? Like, how long is this chemo process going to go?
Probably just 4 months. But it's weird. It's like an implant that they do. Like, it's low dose. So it's an implant that I don't know where it's going. I guess I should have asked. But, and they think it's going to be for 4 months, but it might be longer. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about it. I tried to start doing research, but then it got too much. So because everybody's different. So researching is kind of insane. Like, me and my grandpa had a good bonding experience over the fact that he has prostate cancer and he's going to be on the same chemo, which was not exactly what I wanted to bond over. So actually, he was also the one who suggested, we got my sister one of those like ornaments so you put your ultrasounds in because she's pregnant. And they got me an extra one to put in my ultrasound of my tumor, but we couldn't figure out if it was too dark or not.
I like how your family rolls. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a nice. Yeah. So everybody's getting ultrasounds for a variety of happy and or horrible reasons. Yeah.
No, it's and frames are on sale because it's after Christmas, so we could all be included, which is important.
Wow. And what's the? You sound nervous. You've expressed some fear. You also sound like you really have it together. Have they given you if you're getting chemo, this means it is something that's threatening, right? Like, is this something where you
it was pressing on my spine and my legs were hurting, but I thought that's just because like I hadn't exercised in months. So which I feel like is going to stress people out. But my legs had been hurting and like I had been in a lot of pain and clothes weren't fitting anymore because my stomach was puffy and I just assumed I had gained weight and my legs were hurting, but it was just a tumor. So, which was strangely relieving in a horrible beauty matters kind of way, but also just not what I expected at all. But I've had a lot of time to think about it. My job's been nice enough to like give me some time off of work because I went to the doctor's appointment during work and I came back crying and was like, I think I need to not come in tomorrow. And they were like, what is going on? You know what? We're not even going to ask. Take your stuff, go home. It's okay. So they've been really nice about checking in. And I've got so many friends who have been checking in all week to see how I'm like emotionally holding up. Cause like, I think everybody who's ever called into the show, I suffer from like really, really bad, like lifelong depression. And I've been, seeing a therapist and they know that like mental health is a struggle for me. So they've been calling to check in and make sure. But like even my therapist, like I had therapy right after work that day and she was like, wow, that's a lot. Let's schedule an extra session, which is nice. Like she like found time to like talk to me about it because she knew it was life-changing. So I feel like for everything that's been kind of a setback, there's been another person in my life just helping me go the extra mile to like be emotionally okay with what's going on.
That's cool.
Which I don't think a lot of people have and I'm super grateful for.
That's very cool to have that infrastructure. And physically, like, is this just, you got to go get this over with and then you'll be fine? Or like, is this a thing that could threaten your life?
I mean, it's, they don't think it's going to be life-threatening. They just think it's going to make me really uncomfortable or like there's a potential that like if it grows on my legs, like it could like make it so I can't walk. But it's, they didn't really care about any of those side effects when they were telling me about it. They were mostly like, you'll have breast atrophy and we'll have a decreased sex drive. And I was like, I really think I'm fine with these things for now. That's not really, I mean, I got really upset today because like if my hair falls out, I'd be a little sad. Or if I got bad acne, I'd be a little sad. But they were like, you're not going to want to have sex anymore and your boobs will get small. And I was like, I really don't think that those were priorities for me right now, but thank you.
I don't know. I got to say, I've talked to a lot of people. My job has become talking to people. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've ever talked to somebody with a greater disparity between current life situation and chipperness. You're awfully chipper for somebody who's about 2 hours and 15 minutes away from getting chemotherapy for the first time. Is that denial, or is that just you were blessed with a good personality?
Thank you. I think it's mostly denial, though.
I get that.
It's and I got my wisdom teeth out on Monday, so
oh, come on.
Just like,
what are you talking about?
I know. So it's at a certain point, you're like, that I couldn't eat solid food or anything. Now I can eat solid food, and like you can technically drink on chemotherapy, so I can still have what the kids call fun if I feel like drinking, which I rarely do. But like I can still do things, and like honestly, at this point, I'm excited to just like not be in pain. Like if it could help me not be in pain, then that's cool.
Of course.
And like I said, my friends they've already got plans in motion. They're like, once you're done with this chemo, we're all going to get friendship tattoos. We're all going to shave our heads and like all this stuff that's completely unnecessary, but keeps me going throughout the day. And like, all of their tattoo ideas range from like a chemo chameleon, which is the worst idea, or just like, I don't know, like one of my friends was suggesting we all get tattoos of an ovary, and I think that's awful.
We're not. Hold on. Chemo chameleon. This is...
Yeah, it comes and goes.
You gotta make sure that happens. Yeah. You gotta make sure someone gets that on their body permanently for me. I can't. We have 40 minutes left. I'll spend all 40 of those minutes begging, please pull that friend aside, take their hands into your own, look them deeply in the eye and say, just want you to know how much that would really mean to me, because they can't say no to you. Yeah. If you claim it would mean a lot to you, they have to do it. You got a tumor. They can't be like, oh wait, no, I'm gonna bail on the bit. You have to be like, no, that's my favorite song.
Commit to the bit. That'll help.
Commit to your bit. Chemo chameleon. It comes and goes. Let's everybody pause right now and I want everybody close your eyes and just envision how amazing it would be if someone actually had a chemo chameleon tattoo. Oh, that feels good. I hope some people make some fan art of their chemo chameleon tattoos, put them in the Facebook group. In the meantime, I've broken the momentum anyway. Weird, because we also have ads. Might as well do them now. Advertisers help bring this show to you for free. Check them out. Use the promo codes if you're so inclined. Helps the show when you do. Be right back with more phone call. I love RX Bar. I eat RX bars a lot of mornings. Great way to start my day. RX Bar is a whole food protein bar made with a few simple, clean ingredients, which all serve a purpose. Egg whites for protein, dates to bind, nuts for texture. And in the interest of full transparency, all of the core ingredients are labeled right on the front of the package. No BS. You've seen these. They're the ones that list it right there. It'll say 2 egg whites. Here's the nuts that are in there. It says it right on the package. I love it because when I'm on the go, I look down and go, okay, is this healthy? Okay, am I working out? Let me grab one of the ones with the protein. Let's do it. You need a snack at the office, something in your bag in case you're going on a hike, bike ride, whatever. These are great, okay? They check off a number of nutritional boxes, and they taste really good. Gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, free of sugar. They're very, very good. Like I said, I eat them all the time. My wife and I, we actually got a big basket, a bunch of bars in there, and very often I wake up, first thing I do is stop by that basket in my kitchen, grab myself an RX bar. You want 25% off your first order? Visit rxbar.com/stories. You enter the promo code STORIES at checkout, 25% off. rxbar.com/stories. Use that promo code STORIES, 25% off your first order. Today's show is sponsored by Talkspace, the online therapy company that lets you message a licensed therapist from anywhere at any time. Can't imagine fitting anything else into your life, huh? Well, with Talkspace, therapy's easy. It's as easy as sending your therapist a message. Get something off your chest whenever you need to, okay? You can talk about everyday challenges at work, at home, just chat about life, whatever you need. And you don't have to commute, okay? You don't have to leave your office. There's no judgments involved in this. All you need is a computer with an internet connection or the Talkspace mobile app, and you can improve your mental health. Remember, therapy is not just venting your innermost thoughts or digging into childhood memories. That's what I thought it was before I did it. No, okay? It's also about practical, everyday strategies for stress management and living a happier life. Having a therapist simply provides you a designated person for you to talk to who's trained to listen, help you make positive changes. That's why I love therapy. I had therapy earlier today. You're paying somebody to listen. Their job is to listen to you. What a nice thing to have in your life. And the Talkspace platform has over 2,000 licensed therapists who are experienced in addressing life challenges we all face. To match with the perfect therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy, go to Talkspace.com/beautiful. Use the code BEAUTIFUL. You're going to get $30 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's beautiful at Talkspace.com/beautiful. Thanks again to all of the advertisers who help power this show. You guys are the best. Now, let's get back to the phone call. Chemo Chameleon. It comes and goes. Tattoos of ovaries on yourself as well. Also, a lot to explain.
Well, the point for that one was that I thought that was a bit of an overreaction. I'm just going to laugh at that one myself.
Hold on. That's perhaps the best and most inappropriate dad joke that you could have made there.
Yeah. No, I know.
An overreaction.
I think the concept of premature baldness has left me predisposed to dad jokes.
How are you killing it? How are you killing it comedically this hard? While also having a friend.
No, I wish I could bottle it up.
This is the ultimate
I know I won't feel this way tomorrow.
We really are listening to. This has been 20 minutes of a person in such denial that they can act like a borscht belt comedian. When later this afternoon they'll be undergoing a massive, terrifying life change.
I don't know what a borscht belt comedian is, but I appreciate it.
The borscht belt was like the old school, like I think it was a lot of Jewish comedians many decades ago would like go up to the Catskills and put on shows at resorts.
Oh boy!
But it was like real snappy joke, like "Take my wife, please" type stuff.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's a compliment. I'm giving you a compliment.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could remember any of the other ones, but there's no. There was some bad one about, like, not on my endo for endometriosis, and I was like, that's a bad T-shirt, not a tattoo. Because tattoos with words on it aren't as exciting, I think, as really crude drawings of a chemo chameleon.
Wow. So you're Friday night. Well, what are you doing this Friday? Gonna leave work early, get a little chemo, go out and party with my friends, maybe get fucked up because I still can on chemo.
Well, and it feels bad because there's a group chat where my friend's talking about her plans, and some of my friends were like, oh, it snowed out, but I don't think I can make it. And I was like, yeah, I don't, and not even thinking about it, I was like, yeah, I'm getting chemo right before it, so I might be late. And then there was a silence in the group chat. People were like, yeah, I think I can call a cab and maybe meet you guys over there. It's not too far.
That's good.
It feels accidentally petty. Chemo is accidentally very petty.
Accidentally petty. Like you can't bring it up. Like people feel so much for you and people react so strongly emotionally that you can't bring it up in a casual way because people don't react casually.
Yeah. I was taking a bus to visit my parents for the holidays, and there was this very aggressive woman sitting next to me on the bus. And it was like a 10-hour bus ride or something. And during that time, my sister called me and was like, she was like, oh, I didn't get your Christmas card yet. And I was like, oh, well, I sent it out. It should be there before Christmas. And then she was asking me what was going on. And I said, oh, well, I don't know if Mom and Dad told you about the chemo thing, which I didn't mean to make her feel bad about it. And then the woman next to me, when I got off the phone, gave me a bunch of space and then spent the whole time apologizing and just being like, you know what, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just figured, another white girl on the bus. And I was like, whoa. It's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it was a strange thing for her to say. But then, like, over the course of I think we had like 6 hours left in this bus trip. She like told me her star sign, and we were talking about books we were reading. And she was like a really sweet woman who, apparently, like, she was traveling to visit her friend who, had stage 4 cancer, and she wanted to visit her before the holidays were over. And it just like, it was a complete 180, which was nice. But I was also like, I feel bad that I guilt tripped this woman into talking to me for the rest of this bus trip.
Was this a Greyhound bus? Are we talking about a Greyhound?
Yeah, it's like one of those.
What do you mean it's like one of those?
It was like a sketchy Greyhound bus. Like one of the ones
Isn't that just
they
a Greyhound? Isn't the sketchy Greyhound just Greyhound?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, she it was like 7 a.m. too. And she I don't know, she was very aggressive, but I guess she was going through things too. Which I guess goes to show you when people are aggressive, sometimes they're going through their friends dying of stage 4 cancer. So she even like gave me her number and told me to look her up when we're back in the same city, which was nice. Like I think we might actually go out and get a coffee sometime. Wow. Because I guess she's a teacher, and she was having a bad time at work, and they wouldn't give her off, so she just decided to leave, and she didn't know if she was coming back to a job, it was just a lot. It was a very long bus trip.
Yeah. I've never had a conversation on a bus that wasn't completely intense. Either have no conversation or super intense conversation.
Yeah. There was one time I took a bus where a woman was eating a newspaper for pretty much the entire trip.
What are you talking about?
Which was a lot.
What do you mean she
just was eating a news? Yeah.
Like a Wall Street Journal?
I don't know. I didn't check to see what newspaper it was. I think it would be disparaging if I were to say what newspaper was being eaten by this woman on the bus.
Wow. I took an Amtrak. I took an Amtrak all the way from New York City to Orlando, but I stopped in Savannah. This was before Thanksgiving. I tell you, Amtrak conversations, that's a whole, Amtrak conversations are real. I mean,
Why?
Well, let's see. So on the way down, when I went to Savannah, New York City to Savannah, that's a long trip. I got myself a sleeper car, treated myself right. I'm working on a book right now.
Nice.
Stayed up overnight writing. Felt like real romantic Americana.
It's the American dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Americana, riding the rails, being creative.
Did you dramatically gaze out the window?
A couple times.
For like an hour or two? Nice.
It was overnight, so it was dark. And then I went to Savannah, had never been. Amazing city, mind-blowing city. Don't really know anybody there. Spent 2 days just writing, like 8-10 hours a day. Then I went to take the bus from Savannah down to Florida, where my folks are, and I didn't get a sleeper car, so I didn't have privacy. And it became nuts fast. It became really nuts, yeah. People telling me horrific stories of abuse they've endured. And I mean, people who hadn't even said hello yet. And then one of the women who was telling me about all this stuff recognized me and realized she'd seen me on TV, and then took out her phone, took a picture of me, just me, and then said, hey, this is a good picture of you. Give me your number and I'll text it to you. And I had to look her in the eye. And said, I'm not giving you my phone number. I can't do that.
Oh, jeez.
Everything you've said so far has been unhinged. We're Amtrak people. We're not looking for relationships. We're people who hide in the shadows. We lurk in the shadows. We don't want to go through a security screening. We don't want to make it to an airport. We want to go to a terminal, a depot. We want to slink back into the shadows from whence we came. We're train trash.
they're from, but the other side of the tracks.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. I think I heard that in a movie once.
I actually really liked it. I actually really liked the train ride. It was great. It's pretty great.
Yeah. That sounds wonderful. The bus is a similar thing where it's the kind of people who feel that giving up a certain degree of comfort in order to save like $200 to take a bus is fine because the seats are tiny because everybody has their seat back. And before I got on the bus, the conductor, I don't know, that guy was like, we have a record number of kids on the bus today.
Weird thing to point out, bus driver. Weird thing for a bus driver to say. What was his tone of voice? Because that's a lot different if he's like, hey, everybody, fun fact, record number of kids on the bus today. Or if he's like, hey, everybody, we've got a record number of kids on the bus today.
I think he was enthusiastic about the holidays, but what it pointed out to me was this is going to be a loud trip during which I will sleep not at all.
Oh, yeah. The practical side of that.
Yeah.
Not good, yeah.
Yeah.
Not good. I took a shower on an Amtrak train. I took a shower on the train.
What?
They had a shower. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that the sleeper cars, each sleeper car, you can get there's like a top tier thing that has a shower in your room, which I didn't want to get that.
What?
Yeah, because it's like $1,000.
You can have a wet seat?
I mean, I don't think
I'm confused about the logistics.
No, there's a separate little shower booth in some of the rooms. It's a booth. It doesn't just spray willy-nilly all over the whole room.
I thought it was like you have the option of turning on the fire sprinkler and using it as a shower.
No. It's got its own little enclosure. It's not insanity.
Okay.
You're not paying extra to live in the heart of insanity. No, but then I found that, so I didn't get one of those top line ones. I got one of the middle grade ones. But I'm very OCD about showering. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show before. I have a very weird relationship with showering. It's one of the reflections of my mental illness that I haven't been able to shake. I need to shower. I feel like if I don't shower before I leave the house, that everyone I see and talk to, even passing them on the street, is staring at me and thinking I'm dirty. It's a weird thing.
I have the same thing. That was one of the reasons why I started seeing a therapist, actually, because it used to be a thing where if I touched somebody else's phone or grabbed like one of the, like a public transportation, like the bus thing, the bus hooks, I guess, I would have to go home and shower, or like all day I felt like I couldn't touch anything else. My friends used to joke that like this is horrible. My friends used to joke that I only ever, like when I was dating, that I would only ever have sex so I could force the other person to shower afterwards. Because I have got to think about showering.
Yeah, I can't.
They're not.
I grew up on the bad side of town. I grew up in a town that was a very divided place, and I grew up down the hill. And I think I just always have had this weird complex about people thinking I'm dirty. I can't believe I even used the phrase train trash as a joke, because I've always had a real problem with people calling each other trash because I was from that side of town.
Oh.
So I want to be clean at all times.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, that was a distraction part where we talked about bus and train travel. Now, what's your living situation? You live on your own? You live with the family? You live with the boyfriend? Who do you live with?
I live with 3 other roommates. I just had a very toxic, abusive roommate move out, so now my space is very clean. I had a professional come in and sage it. It was that bad. It's a place that is haunted, so I have not been there in a few days because I can't deal with that right now.
Slow down. You're talking about it's haunted. What are you talking about? You live with 3 other people in a haunted house. You got to recover from chemo. It's not an ideal environment. Kind of haunting.
Well, he's a friendly, property value lowering ghost, not a like belligerent spirit. I think when we moved in, I guess the apartment had never been lived in before. Like we were the first tenants in there, and when I asked the landlord, I said, "Okay, well, what do we put on the mail?" He said, "Oh, well, it's the garden apartment." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not real. What's the actual name of this apartment? Like, what did the people before this call it?" And he said, "Oh, no one lived here for 35 years. We found this like a year and a half ago when we were renovating the building. And a guy killed himself in it before this. Oh, I should probably disclose to you, or I have to disclose to you that it's haunted. So it's been a little hard to rent out." And I was like, yes, this is what I spent all of my teen years and all of that eyeliner waiting for. So we got like a super cheap apartment. So like we have a backyard, and like I live with 3 very nice people now. But occasionally like all the faucets turn on, and one time someone came over and was talking shit about our ghost, and the ceiling collapsed like at that exact moment.
What? What are you talking about? What are you talking
know,
about?
I
You
know,
live
I
in the
know, I
haunted
know.
house that the realtor told you was haunted? Where are you
Yeah,
staying
it was
post
cheap.
chemo? You can't be staying in the haunted house post chemo.
No, I'm not.
That's a sentence I never
I'm
thought I'd have to
not.
say. Hey, when you're recovering from chemo, don't stay in the haunted house.
Yeah, no ghosts after chemo. You can drink, but you can't have ghosts.
Where you staying with family?
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm staying with family that doesn't live too far away.
Good.
Yeah.
How do you find a professional sage person? How do you look that up?
My friend. There was these signs. Oh geez, I don't want to give away what city I live in. Because these signs had the name of the city in it. There was a really good ghost pun on signs all over the city I live in. So I emailed the person to ask them what their deal was, just because I was curious. And through that, I met a really good friend who had posted all of these as a joke, but then she actually got into a lot of like witchcraft and got really into that community. So she said that she knew somebody who could come over and sage my apartment like really well. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? I don't have anything going on today. So this person came over and they staged my apartment. That was basically it. They just burnt some sage and walked around the whole apartment, which I didn't really think you needed to be a professional, but I don't know. She had a business card.
Did she say she felt some presences?
Yeah, she was like, well, she was mostly like, this place has a bad vibe. And that was pretty much the only thing she said. I was like, oh, thanks. But we also didn't have any furniture at the time because my roommate moved out with all the furniture. So she just said it had a bad vibe. And then later she just watched TV with us and it was really relaxing and kind of nice. And now she's a friend of mine.
What are you talking? Okay, wait. So you said you live on the East Coast. You said that you found people who were posting paranormal pun-related signs that, excuse me, that attracted you to them. Can I make some guesses?
If you want to.
Boston, Massachusetts.
I'm not going to confirm or deny anything. I just think that's a really good pun.
Baltimore, Maryland. Is it Baltimore, Maryland?
Minneapolis poltergeist? No. And an apple poltergeist? I don't know. I don't have a good one for this.
Washington, D.C., that ghost in my apartment?
No. Close, though.
Okay, wait, let's see.
Okay,
wait. Close.
It's not, it's a fine place. It's a fine place. There's a nice shower, and I refuse to leave. I'm pretty sure when I'm recovering from chemo later in my life, like after like a few weeks, I'm going to really appreciate like taking a really nice steamy shower. And if a spirit happens to pop up, I think chemo's scarier than ghosts anyway. So, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, I think, in this particular instance.
Wow. Charleston's of ghosts. South Carolina.
That one's pretty good. Actually, that one's pretty awful, but I like it.
Thank you so much. Well,
there could also be Trenton of ghosts. Yeah.
Trenton. If you lived in New Jersey's capital. Trenton of ghosts, New Jersey. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Could it be Philadelphia? No, that was bad. Who knows?
Philadelphia? Ew.
Well, hey, I'm trying my hardest here on the spot, okay?
No, I know. I'm sorry. I know it takes work. It takes time.
I nailed Baltimore. Boston.
Yeah, Baltimore was pretty good. Couldn't think of any other good ones.
It's okay. We don't have
Tam Paranormal, Florida.
Tam Paranormal, Florida. That was a stretch. It was a stretch. It was 4 times as long as the name of the city, but that's okay. It's okay. It's what I got right now. Well, I feel like I've managed to successfully distract you from your current state of things by talking about ghosts for a little while. Now, okay. You're young. Real scary things happened. You're, you've already been dealing with a condition. It's led to this. How many hours till we go in? It's 3:15 right
well,
now.
It starts at 6, but it's a little far. It's kind of outside of the train situation, so I have to. It's going to be a long drive.
You got to drive over there.
Yeah. But it's okay. I've got friends who are meeting me afterwards. I've got a friend who might meet me there. And I feel pretty positively that I'm at least going to have a hand to hold when they're doing it.
That's great. You got good friends, huh?
Yeah, I really do. They've helped me through so much, and they've been really understanding of pretty much every weird thing I've thrown at them. So, and I think they're the kind of people who make me feel good about the place I'm at in my life. They make me feel really good about like the journey that I've gone down, and like they make me feel better about like they're the kind of friends who call me to remind me to go to therapy, like if I'm having a bad day.
That's nice. That's good to have those people.
Yeah. They've helped me through like a lot of like scary, weird nonsense stuff before. So I feel pretty good about this, like they've helped me like figure out like my identity. They've helped me like figure out that there are certain things that I cannot wear without looking like a potato, I don't know. They've really been there for me through the worst stuff.
Good friends step up. They do things like that. They also sometimes buy you gifts. Maybe you're looking to buy a gift for a friend. Well, I tell you what, our advertisers are letting you know about services and products that might just fit the bill. Check them out. Are you looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Every once in a while, we all are, baby. We all are, okay? Maybe you're fantasizing about surprising your lover. Some adventurous new toy. Maybe an adult movie, okay? I'm a very sex-positive person. I'm all about it. And there's an offer here for you that you won't be able to resist. Go to adamandeve.com. For a limited time only, you'll get 50% off just about any item. But that is not all, my friends. When you select your one item at 50% off, you'll also receive 3 free adult DVDs for a little inspiration. Get a little inspiration going, plus a free extra gift so sensual, I cannot mention it. I'm not even allowed to talk about this sensual gift. To top it all off, they're even going to throw in free shipping on your entire order. And no, Adam and Eve is not kidding about this. I say we all go for it. I say we make 2018 a year of love, a year of sensuality, of positivity. In this scary, dark world, spice it up. Spice it up. Embrace love. Embrace sexuality. Check out adamandeve.com today for this special offer. You're going to get 50% off one item, plus 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and free shipping. It's a lot of free stuff when you enter the offer code STORIES at checkout. Use the offer code STORIES at adamandeve.com. That's STORIES at adamandeve.com. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. Now, let's finish off the phone call.
They've really been there for me through the worst stuff. They're the, my friend who's.
What were you wearing?
I'm pretty sure I answered the door once in a towel that I put a belt over because I didn't want to look like I was naked under the towel, but I don't know why I thought that would help. I had to go quick because I was in the shower and I didn't realize my friends were early. I think I've worn worse things though. I've worn we play a game where you go to the thrift store and you find the ugliest thing you possibly can. But I feel like 9 times out of 10 when they go to the thrift store, I always want the ugliest thing they can find because it's weird. And usually pretty comfortable. I feel that like strange things that you find at thrift stores are rarely uncomfortable.
So you thought a belt over a towel was going to trick them into thinking that was clothes?
Well, because I don't know, like earlier I ordered delivery, and when I went to the door to get the delivery guy, I was just wearing a jacket that I had zipped up because I didn't feel like putting on clothes quite yet. And he gave me a look. He was like, "We both know that you're just hanging out," like not in a creepy way, but he just gave me like a knowing look, like, "Nice, you're home from work. You deserve to be naked in your apartment alone." I don't know. It didn't feel weird, but it was one of those things where I was like, man, I wish I could have put on socks or something to sell this a little better.
Yeah.
The not nudity thing. Not that I have a problem with nudity, but at the time, it felt like not an appropriate way to answer the door. I don't know. It's been a very emotionally confusing day.
I gotcha. You got any other? You got any mountains you're looking to climb? You got any other adventures you got on the agenda for when this era of life is over?
I don't know. I haven't really been able to afford to travel in my life. But I recently started dating somebody who, I made him read a bunch of books about mountain climbers. And there's a bunch of circuits you can do in like northern Scotland that are like they're not like mountains, they're more like hills, but you can, they're long treks and it's less uphill. So because there's less climbing, it's less pressure on my stomach. So it's a lot easier. So I don't know. I haven't really made any plans because I feel like I just want to see where I'm at, which is, I guess, a boring answer, but, I just like, it's going to be expensive too. So I can't really plan for any like expensive trips because I feel like it'll just let me down when I get there. Like I haven't really left the East Coast my whole life. So like the idea of maybe going to a different places, like even going like just, I don't know, even going to the West Coast would be really cool at this point. Like I haven't even really seen mountains before. So it'll be a cool thing. Like once I'm done and like once the doctor approves me to be able to travel, just being able to visit friends like in Seattle or something would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And what?
I'm sorry I called to mope about chemo.
No, you haven't really moped. I feel like I almost feel bad because I feel like you've actually been so positive and I got so many questions about it, but I'm like hitting a crossroads. I'm like, I don't know if I want to drag you into just moping or being sad about the sad thing when you're actually in such good spirits, Yeah.
I feel like I'm just in good spirits right now. Like I know eventually it'll stress me out, but I don't like even things like, I don't know. I was just reading, like I made the mistake of like one night I was really stressed out about it because my mom called me and she was scared. She was like, I didn't want to ask you questions, but I feel like I have to because, it's coming up soon and I'm scared. And having your mom call you and tell you she's scared is, terrifying. So I ended up doing some research. I had to for my mom so she would calm down. And most of the side effects were like, you could lose your hair. Well, I have wigs. Well, you won't have a sex drive. Well, I'm asexual. So it's like not going to affect me at all. Or like you could gain or lose weight and, I can always belt a towel. So there's nothing, I feel like there can only be positives from here. Like being in pain, like your whole life just sucks. Like having to explain to people all the time that like I can't do things because of pain is just the worst. So like the ability, like the fact that there's someone who even cares enough to like try and like stop that pain or like help me through it is like weirdly positive for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty beautiful. Why do you own so many wigs? You've mentioned a few times throughout this call that you own a lot of wigs. This is the third or fourth time you've mentioned it. What's up with the wigs?
Back in college, I built a lot of costumes for people, for like plays or like if they were like shooting student films or something. I just ended up becoming that person, cause like I was the only person there who really knew how to make costumes, even though I didn't really know how. It was kind of a lying on your resume thing. So I just have bits and pieces from old sets that I've done for people. So I just have a bunch of wigs, and sometimes it's just nice to wear them and like not feel like yourself. Like especially like when I'm feeling really like stressed out or depressed, it's kind of like I have a lot of friends who do drag, and they've mentioned that sometimes when they're feeling bad, they just like, you put a wig on and then you're not yourself for a few hours, and it's easier to forget like things that are stressing you out when you can just pretend to be somebody else, even if it's just changing your hair.
Yeah, that's a good answer. It's a good, thorough answer that I wasn't anticipating.
Yeah, so I guess I'm prepped for that part, which is nice. And a bunch of like rich film students bought the wigs too, because they were like, oh yeah, my wig budget is $500 for my movie. And I was like, what? Okay, all right, I'll take it, whatever. You mean I can keep these? That's great. So, haha, joke's on them. So, I have all these things, and I feel pretty prepared, which I don't really think you can be prepared for chemo, but I feel pretty prepared, all things considered.
And what is chemo? My understanding is they're actually like poisoning. It's poison, right?
It's different for everybody. There's different kinds. This one is kind of like poison. It's like, from what I understand of it, it's just like shutting down certain processes in my body so that like the tumor doesn't get bigger. Like they're hoping it'll shrink the tumor by like basically inversing the body's the way it works. But the specific one I'm getting is I think, well, it's different because I guess there's chemo and radiation. But I'm not doing the radiation part, I don't think. And that's, I don't know. I wish I knew more about it. I was kind of just waiting to have the doctor tell me like what the whole thing's going to be like, because I felt like if I Googled what exactly was going to happen, it would stress me out.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. You don't need to let everybody listening Google as much as they please. You don't need to Google it. Nothing worse than Googling a medical procedure you're about to have.
No, it's the worst. It's the absolute worst because, of course, like the first thing that popped up the first time you Googled it was like someone doing a Reddit AMA about like, I was on this specific chemo and I felt like I was going to die and my boyfriend doesn't love me anymore and I'm ugly and I don't have hair and like my body is no longer mine and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, we're just going to pump the brakes, put that one in neutral and not go back down that path. Yeah, so I think that's just like a general good piece of advice is like, it's like so tempting. Like Googling illnesses is like the forbidden fruit for me. Like I don't do it anymore because like every time I do it, I just get stressed out. So I just stopped. It's like, I feel like the way that people Google their exes is the way I like Google like treatments and illnesses or like treatments that I might be going under. Like I only Google it in the dead of night and in incognito window because I'm like ashamed of looking up treatments because I know I'm just doing it to stress myself out. So once I realized that it's like basically the same thing, like it feels like the same brain process as like Googling my exes. Like I just stopped doing it and now I'm cured and I don't have to like feel tied to my ex-boyfriend.
We got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
I want to know the secret. Because...
What's the secret?
You tell me. Because you're so cheerful. You got a lot of dark stuff going on. You're just like cheerful and talkative. And I'm more moody and dark and depressed on a day when I got nothing going on or only good things going on than you are right now, 2.5 hours away from chemo for the first time. So I need to know what the secret is of how you're maintaining this. Because I find it very impressive.
I think
it's actually kind of stopped me in my tracks.
I think the secret is I'm always sad. Oh, I think the secret is I'm always sad.
You're always
like,
sad? You don't seem sad.
I'm just so sad. No,
I know,
but
sad?
like, I mean, like, just in general, like, I'm just like, there's just been so many worse things. That this is like, at least it's like out of my hands. Like, this isn't something I did, right? Like, this is something that I'm dealing with. Like, instead of like sitting around and like being bummed out about it, like I actually did something because like, I feel like for the first like decades of my life, I just didn't do anything when I was sick or, you know, like bad things would happen and I would just like sit around and not do anything. And now it's like, you know, like I had to deal with this over Christmas and I did it. Like I actually like signed up for it and did it. And like, I could have canceled my appointment several times today. In fact, I did. I canceled it and then rescheduled it probably 80 times. So like while we've been on the phone, my doctor's called me, which I'm pretty sure is like, hey, can you stop rescheduling your appointment?
You should go tell, what are you doing? I think, you got to talk to the doctor.
I don't know.
You've ignored the doctor to be on my podcast?
Yes. Oh.
Don't get mad at me.
Mom?
No, you're only reacting like that because you know I'm completely correct.
No, I know. No, see, denial. This is a master class in denial, correct? So I'm just ignoring these calls for another few minutes.
You're going to call your doctor back.
So denial.
Doctor's going to be all panicky.
No, I'm going to.
The doctor's going to be all panicky. Like, you didn't pick up the phone and we're a couple hours out and I don't know what's going on. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, I was describing bus travel to a 37-year-old nerd.
To a stranger.
In New York City.
Yeah, well.
Had to let him know what it was like to take a bus. He told me about trains.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I've got a deep fear of trains, which I'm sure my doctor will be happy to hear about because we're going to be in the same room for quite some time.
You have a deep fear of trains based on what I said?
No, I don't actually have a deep fear of trains. I've got a deep fear of like being on public transportation for a long period of time. But anyway, no, I think it's really just like I've been through worse. Like I've been through so much worse. And that, like, I can like point out times in my life that I've been at like such bad lows where like I personally have been a crappy person. And I feel like at the end of the day, like this crappy thing's happening, but I'm pretty happy with like who I am. Like, I think there's a lot of forward momentum for me. And if the only thing holding me back is health, like, you know, which, you know, it has been like my whole life, like health's always been holding me back. Like being in constant invisible pain has always been holding me back. So the fact that there's like a potential that I could not be in pain it's like a positive thing. It's like scary. Like I think there's a lot of, again, chemo is petty. Like it's a petty thing to talk about sometimes, but I think like because of the gravity of it, people for the first time are kind of understanding where I'm coming from. Like when I say like, hey, I'm in pain, I can't make it out tonight, people are like, that's fair, you're starting chemo soon. Or when I tell my job, like, I am in so much pain I can't sit up, they're like, that's fair, you should go home, you're starting chemo soon. So it's like kind of a gravity that like people understand, as opposed to like having an invisible illness, which is like, it's scary. And like people don't know how to talk about it appropriately. Like people just assume when you're in pain, you're making it up if you say you're in pain for so many years. So it's kind of a relief to be able, it sounds shitty, but it's kind of a relief to be able to say like, at least I'm doing something, like at least there's positive, like at least there's momentum, and at least there's like something that people can kind of understand, because people have seen like movies and they know that chemo is like for when things are bad. So I don't know, it's given me a shorthand to talk to a lot of people, and like it's given me a shorthand to be able to like explain to other people how like invisible illnesses work. So yeah, and like I said, I've been through way worse. So this is like, you know, this is not the worst thing that's happened, nor will it be the worst thing to happen. So I guess there's like a little bit of positivity, and they said I can still go out and have fun tonight afterwards. So
the doctor signed off on that. That's not just you. The doctor said, go
no,
and
that's
have
not
fun.
just me.
Doctor's
he raised his eyebrow at me. Yeah. I have a doctor's note for partying.
The doctor gave you a note that said you have to go party?
No, he said I'm allowed to.
He gave you like a prescription for two margaritas?
10 cc's of party. Yeah.
Here's your prescription. 2 margaritas.
Yeah.
Extra salt on the rim.
Yeah. I wonder if he would do that for jokes. Probably not. He's like a very, very, very intense, like very like old Polish man. I do not think he would write me a prescription for margaritas, but I will certainly ask. Which I doubt I'll even want them, but knowing that it's like a thing that I can't do is like nice. I don't know.
Yeah. I really, I feel like, first of all, I'm wishing you nothing but luck.
Thank you.
I also feel like I don't know how much you even need it, because with an attitude like this, I feel nothing but positivity about what you're entering into. Yeah.
I mean, it's taken a lot of time to get positivity. I mean, it's taken like years of work. Like, I feel like if I had found this out like a year ago, I would have been in the like wearing the same pajamas for a week and not going to work kind of place. But I think, you know, I showed up to work for the first time in 3 weeks today carrying cookies, and everyone was like, okay, too much, get out of here, you're making the rest of us feel bad.
What do you do for work? You mentioned work so much. What do you do for work?
I work in TV.
Oh, me too.
No way. No, I work on like a smallish TV show, like a not cable. It's like I help with like sets and stuff. So it's you know, and that's not really conducive to being in pain all the time. So the fact that like my new team of like my new coworkers understand is really cool. Because I think the TV industry is like pretty unforgiving of when you're sick. Like I've definitely worked jobs before where I was sick and I took a day off, and then like they just asked me not to come back. So and it's just kind of the worst, because there's really no accountability. So you just kind of, when you don't show up to work, they're just like, well, we found someone else because we needed someone else, and they said they weren't going to be in pain. So, you know, like I feel like this is the most supported I've ever been in my whole life. So I think in a weird way, it couldn't have happened at a better time. And And they said I could take off next week too, which, it's snowing outside. Of course I'm going to take off next week.
Batlanta. Was it Batlanta?
Oh, Batlanta's so good.
Because there's a lot of TV production, a lot of movie production in Atlanta. Could be.
I'm not going to tell you what city it is, but
East Coast, and has a TV industry, but it's not New York.
Well, a lot of places on the East Coast have like teeny tiny shows.
Yeah, like regional shows. Atlanta was a good guess, though. Batlanta was a good guess.
Batlanta is really good. That's super good.
I'm trying to think of what the pun is for Richmond, because everything you've described sounds to me like. Yeah, I nailed it, didn't I? I nailed it.
I don't know what the Richmond pun would be. Richmond, don't come over here. There's ghosts. I don't know. I don't have anything for that one.
Oh, okay. Everything you said about your city started to sound like Richmond to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
I will not confirm or deny Richmond. It is a great city.
It is. That's a real cool, artsy, weirdo town.
There's a lot of really good music there.
Guar. You got Guar.
Guar?
Guar.
Guar's from Richmond? Really?
Yeah, Guar's from Richmond.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I guess people in Richmond are super weird. Guar's super weird. Makes sense. Makes total sense.
It all adds up. It all adds up at the end.
Yeah. Okay. How much time do we have left?
Just under 2 minutes.
Oh, geez. I don't know what to do for 2 minutes. I guess thank you so much for... This is kind of the distraction I needed. I know it was kind of like not the normal kind of beautiful anonymous talk, but it definitely helped me focus on something else, and I really appreciate it.
No, I'm happy to distract, happy to help out with that. I feel like that's my, at the end of the day, being a comedian is largely about distracting people with positive emotions. That's one way to describe it. But I'll also say thank you, because I feel like there's probably a lot of people going through medical stuff or have family going through medical stuff who maybe, it's a little bit of a faux pas to talk about this stuff and ask questions about this stuff. And I feel like hearing someone like you so casual and so positive about it was actually really eye-opening for me. And I found myself like sort of flummoxed it a few times because I'm like, I don't know what to ask because you're handling it so well,
Thanks. I mean, like my best friend in the whole world she's an amputee, and like she's a mom and like a tattoo artist and like a small business owner, and like her positivity towards like, like in cities, there's no way for her to like really get around sometimes. So like her positivity and the way that she looks at the world has been like a real big effect. And I think the biggest thing is like once I actually started talking about like being in chronic pain, I think I found a community that was able to work with me and like people who are able to understand that like sometimes like when you flake out on plans, it's not just because like I love flaking out on plans. It's because like I'm in pain, and like find people who understood that made like a huge difference. So like I really like I hope that people out there are like able to talk about chronic pain more, just because like it really, really helped me, like being able to talk about it with people and like not being afraid to say like the word ovary in front of men definitely helped.
Is it Kilmington, Delaware? Kilmington, Delaware.
I wouldn't live in Delaware. No offense to Delaware, but no. Do they film things there? I don't think so.
Caller, thank you for calling. And we were joking right up until the end. I didn't get to say it. Good luck to you. So much love to you. I hope everything goes well. And I'm sure with your attitude that it is. I really sending all the good thoughts your way, and I hope that you're feeling very healthy and back on your feet quite soon. Thank you for calling, let alone on a day so impactful to you. Thank you so much. And thanks to Jared O'Connell. Thank you to Harry Nelson in the booth, always helping to hold this ship together. Thanks to the Reverend John Delore and Greta Cohn, who helped build this thing. Just ran into Greta Cohn at a party. She's doing quite well. She's astounded that I still thank her at the end of these. Thank you to Shellshag for the intro music. You guys are the best. You want to know about me? ChrisGeth.com, including tour dates like our shows at the Bell House in February. Go check them out. If you like the show, go to Apple Podcasts. You rate, you review, you subscribe. It really helps so much. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on Beautiful Anonymous. Today's show is sponsored by Talkspace, the online therapy company that enables you to improve your mental health from anywhere at any time. Get matched with a licensed therapist from over 2,000 choices and message them whenever you need to. No commutes, no judgments. For a special offer for our listeners, visit Talkspace.com/beautiful. Use the code BEAUTIFUL to get $30 off your first month and show your support for this show. Talkspace, it's therapy for how we live today. Next time on Beautiful Anonymous, a sober mathematician drives me past the brink of madness. And you know what they always used to say when I was young? It's not like you're walking around with a calculator in your pocket.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Some genius named Steve Jobs finally was like, maybe we should. They also tell you the time with numbers, not the hand things. Another thing I never needed to know.
I will say, as somebody who actually cares about math and computer science, the fact that you would give Steve Jobs any credit whatsoever for anything other than being good at marketing, little upsetting, gotta be honest.
That's next time on Beautiful Anonymous.
Hi there, this is Paul F. Tompkins, the host of Spontaneation, a comedy podcast where some comedy pals and I improvise a brand new story every single week. And for February, we are celebrating Black History Month with African-American guests and improvisers all month long. You will hear some of our old favorites and some of our new friends. We'll have people like Nathan Lee Graham, one of the most beloved Spontaneation guests, and LeVar Burton, who has never done the show before, and we were thrilled to have him. Plus, a lot of your favorite improvisers like Tawny Newsome and Carl Tart, and some new folks that are new members of the Spontaneation family. So, listen to Spontaneation on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Premium, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Black History Month. Get into it!
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.